George, you and I were having a conversation recently about something I'm really excited to let buyers know about. And I want to give you an opportunity to talk about it. This $10,000 HomeSeeker grant that the state of New Jersey is making available to buyers in our area right now. Can you touch on what buyers may be eligible for this $10,000 grant?
Absolutely, Adam. This is an exciting, exciting time for first-time home buyers in New Jersey because, when can you think of the last time that we've been giving away technically free money? It's an amazing opportunity for any first-time buyer, and I'm so glad we have the opportunity to talk about it. First of all, $10,000 towards somebody's down payment and or closing costs. What a
Wow, so
power!
they could use it either way as the down payment or towards the purchase price, towards
Absolutely.
closing costs.
hmm If you think
Wow,
about it, most first-time home buyers, they want to buy a home, but they might not have that 3% or 3.5% or 5% to put down. And
right.
so this particular grant allows them to utilize the $10,000 for that purpose, that down payment. And we can also couple it with seller's concessions, which is pretty common on a lot of transactions nowadays.
Hmm.
Sellers, could, with the right bid, of course, offer to pay some, if not all, of the borrower's closing costs for them, which means that this $10,000 grant plus a buyer's ability to negotiate a seller's concession means that somebody could literally buy a home for no money out of their own
Wow,
pocket. It's
that's
super
fantastic.
strong. And the good news about South Jersey is Atlantic County, Gloucester County, Camden County, and Burlington County are eligible for this particular grant. There are specific income limits that are actually listed on that home seeker flyer that you have listed there.
And we'll
But
attach this to the video too. So, buyers who are reviewing this have all the information that they need to know right on this flyer here.
absolutely. And of course, if they have any questions about whether or not they qualify, they could feel free to reach out to me on my cell at 856-287-0760. And I'd be
Perfect.
glad to go through their specifics to make sure that they do qualify. People might look at this and say, well, I make more than the maximum, but maybe they have write offs, or maybe they're self employed and we're taking an average of their income. A lot of times, we can delve a little bit deeper to make sure that if somebody does qualify for this grant, they can get it. And one thing that borrowers should keep in mind is it really is free money if they stay in the home for 5 years or more. And many first time buyers are looking to stay in their first home for longer than that period. So
Yeah.
it's truly a great, great program right now. The good news is there's over 500 still available today, but they are going pretty fast. So if somebody is interested, I recommend that they give you or I a call and we can go into a little bit more detail with them, especially as time ticks on.
Well, that sounds terrific, George. From there to dig into this just a little bit deeper, what type of buyer may be eligible for this $10,000 grant? Do they have to be first time home buyers?
They do, and truly, great question, Adam. The definition of a first-time home buyer is someone who has not had ownership interest in a property within the last 3 years. So
Hmm.
it doesn't truly have to be a first-time buyer. You could have owned property 10 years ago, or maybe you moved out of state and you rented, and now you're ready to come back to New Jersey. Well, if you're buying in these eligible counties and you haven't had an ownership interest in a property in the past 3 years, this program and grant could definitely be yours for the taking.
Yeah, that's interesting. Where we've seen a lot of clients having success with it and really providing a lot of help to buyers is somebody who may have been distressed after the financial collapse 10 years ago or so and had to sell or get rid of their home for one reason or another, haven't owned a home in a number of years, and now want to get back into home ownership as the market's improving. And what better way than to take advantage of $10,000? So,
Absolutely. We call
just to
those
be clear,
boomerang buyers, by the way, because they left, but now they're coming back. So we invite
yeah.
all boomerang buyers back in because we want to make sure if they qualify for this grant that they could take full advantage of it.
Yeah, and that's what I want to be really clear about is that it does not have to be a first-time home buyer. So that boomerang buyer, as you mentioned, if they owned a home or had a loan over 3 years ago and have not owned a home or had a mortgage within the 3 years, then they may be eligible for this program, right?
Absolutely. They should be getting off that fence and calling you or I and getting into that new home.
Yeah, because the next step is, like you said, there's only about 500 of them left. So we don't anticipate these to hang around all that long.
That's exactly right. Considering we started out with 1,000 of these grants in the beginning of April, things are going pretty fast. So, we definitely want to get people, in our process and looking for
Hmm.
homes and definitely under contract soon, because once they find that property that they're falling in love with, we want to make sure that they have the money to be able to, utilize.
And George, one other thing that I noticed in here, outside of the first time buyer, if they were a veteran buyer, there's somebody that would be eligible as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. And believe it or not, that 3 year waiting period for being a first time buyer is waived for our veterans. So, number
Wow.
one, thank you very much for your service, whoever's watching this. But ultimately, pick up that phone because we might have $10,000 waiting for you to help buy that first home.
Yeah, and that's another discussion to have too, because in that scenario, they could take care of all of the benefits of a VA loan from the Veterans Administration as well as this $10,000 grant.
Sure. This $10,000 could pay all of their closing costs. And maybe they're in a competitive bidding situation, for example, where the seller won't budge on the sale price of their home and they won't give any seller concessions. Well, now we don't need any seller's concessions because the veteran is getting $10,000 to cover it all. So it's really a
Perfect.
great product and can certainly open a lot of doors for people who, just for one reason or another feel that they couldn't afford a home now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, just a quick rundown here before we jump off the call. It's either somebody who hasn't owned a home within the last 3 years, or they're a veteran, and it's $10,000, which is forgiven after 5 years. So they do not have to pay it back after 5 years. And as a real estate professional, we know that the average home buyer stays in the home for about 7 or 8 years. So most buyers are probably going to stay there for 5 years. And can you just remind us what counties in New Jersey are eligible for this grant again?
Sure, sure. Well, in South Jersey, we have Atlantic County, Camden County, Gloucester County, Burlington County, and Mercer County. And in North Jersey, there's a couple more counties that are available. We have Essex, Union, Passaic, and that makes up quite a bit more of the entire state of New Jersey that would be eligible for this.
Well,
And that's
yeah.
probably the reason why things are going so fast.
Yeah, I didn't realize that many counties are eligible for this. So there's only 500 of them left amongst all of those counties, not just here in Atlantic County or Camden or Burlington County. It's 500 for the entire state or all the counties that you mentioned there.
That's exactly right. Not
Wow,
all counties are eligible, but the ones listed definitely are. And it's first come, first serve.
fantastic. Yeah, so if you're a first time home buyer or veteran buyer, make sure you take advantage of it.